This woman does a great job explaining marriage from her perspective. Y'all check this out. We'll come back and talk about it.
Okay, let's break down the saying. Men sacrifice their happiness for marriage. Women sacrifice their marriage for their happiness. Because sis said that doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does.
So let me break it down because this is something that men are saying. And so maybe if I say it, it will kind of resonate a little bit more. I'm not going to hold you. A lot of times women, we only think about us and what we give up and what we sacrifice. I mean, men do this too, but in marriage, a lot of times we don't always consider what the men give up.
I think that's true for the most part, but I do think there are a group of women out there who know, but it's just not important to them. I'm pretty sure if you ask them, they'll be like,
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
Now, this is going to sound crazy because our needs are different, but before y'all react, before y'all get triggered, before y'all just listen first and then comment. Just then comment. When men get married, it is not a fairy tale for them. They're not looking forward to this extravagant wedding. They are not rushing to be with one woman. Now, hear me out. A good man, a man that's God-fearing, does not mind giving up that part of himself to be with one woman. Most men, though, it is not their dream and their fantasy to be with one person the way it is for us. We don't need a slew of men. We don't need a roster. We don't need a bunch of people to make us feel good.
I would have agreed with that 20, 30, 40 years ago, but this new batch of women, I'm not sure about that.
Men are way more sexual than we are. We are content with one person. Men have to fight against their flesh, fight against their natural desires to be with multiple women. So that is a sacrifice they give up for the woman that they love. And I know somebody's going to be like, but they cheat. I'm not talking about them. I'm just saying in general. Just listen, y'all. Stay here, ladies, because I know how y'all get. Just wait a minute. Also, when a man gets married, he is sacrificing, not only protecting himself, but he has to now protect a family. If a cop, burglar, whatever comes to the door, like if anybody knocks at the door, my husband answers the door because he is the protector of this household. He does not expect me to get up in the middle of the night or get up when the doorbell rings to make sure that the household is protected. That is his job. So a man knows when I sign up to be a husband, I am now her protection and my children's protection. Men also know that their resources are no longer for them, they are for their family. However, good men do not mind because that's what makes them feel good as men. However, it is a huge investment in the man. They're investing their time, their loyalty, they're going against their nature to be with one woman, love one woman, take care of a family because they love, when they're loved properly, when they know that woman has their back and that she's loyal, they don't mind making that sacrifice. They don't mind denying the things that they want, the good ones. They don't mind denying the things that they want to make sure that their family is straight. That's why back in the day, granddaddy, even men today though, men will sacrifice, get up every single day and never complain about having to go to work, never complain about sitting in traffic, never complaining about your nasty pot roast, never complaining. They will just live their lives. They shut up. They do what they got to do to put their family on their back, to hold it down in any way they can. The good ones, not saying men are perfect. I'm just saying that's what they sacrifice.
And I know there are women out there who ignored all of that, and the only reason they're still watching the video is they're looking forward to hearing what the women sacrifice.
Women, we make sacrifices, right? We bear the children, we hold down the home, but it's equal exchange. The difference is men don't really complain about their sacrifices. And then to the women who say that, well, I do everything. Sis, that's the marriage you signed up for. No tea, no shade. No tea, no shade. Y'all gotta work that out. So when men say women will sacrifice their marriage for their happiness, when women say, you know what? I've been with this man for 12 years. We have kids together. We built this home together. We have a life together. But right now, this marriage is not serving me, and I need to go outside this marriage. I need to break up my home. I need to break up my family to go be happy. Men don't understand that crap because that man ain't been happy for a while, but he sucked it up and kept doing what he needed to do for his family. And then you'll have other women go, yeah, girl, your happiness is over your children's happiness. Your happiness is over the heartbreak that's going to cause to your husband. Your happiness is over everything. You see how crazy that sounds? Very selfish. So no, you don't care that your children will have to go back and forth between different homes. No, you won't care about how that is going to hurt your husband because he might be very stoic and not show it, but he still has feelings, especially if he was a good man, especially if he denied people and his feelings and the stuff that he wanted to do for you, and just for you to turn around and be like, I'm unhappy. And then when we go out into the world, and we realize fat meat ain't greasy and the grass ain't greener and the dating pool is, then we get mad. Then it's men's problem, and then it's men's fault. And other men are sitting there looking at you like, we could have told you that, because what they know that we do not is that every man is not going to love you the way your husband loves you. Yes, I know you think you're great. Yes, I know that you are beautiful and your booty is plump and all this other stuff. But men know that they only really love a few women in their lives. They will sleep with a lot of women. They will give attention to a lot of women. But the love down, it's only about 2 or 3. So when a man decides, hey, I want you, I love you enough to marry you, I love you enough to protect you, provide, whatever. Again, the good ones, because somebody gonna be in the comments. The good ones. Other men are bewildered and bamboozled that you couldn't sacrifice just a little uncomfortability, a little unhappiness, a little just to get through that season, because what they know that we don't is our emotions don't last forever. Men are not emotional like we are. They know how to thug it out through their emotions to get to the other side. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is easy. I'm not saying that every marriage is going to be perfect and you ain't going to have your issues and you ain't going to have your ups and downs. But if you get married in your 20s and your 30s and you plan to be with this person for the rest of your life and you don't think you ain't going to have a few years of hard or misery or whatever, you don't think that you ain't going to have to go through something. Again, I'm not talking about cheating because somebody's going to be like, cheating. I'm not talking about that. But we as women have to understand that sometimes our happiness is our job. Sometimes it's not our marriage, it's going to get a hobby. Sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with your family of why you ain't unhappy. Sometimes it's your hormones. Sometimes you just need to get a life, girl. Sometimes you need new friends. Sometimes you might just need a vacation. So I am not the guru to marriage, but I had to break that down because sis didn't understand what I was talking about. Men say it to each other all the time and it clicks. So hopefully with that explanation, I know somebody is going to miss somebody. It's okay. Hopefully with that explanation, you understand what they mean. Why men sacrifice their happiness for their marriage and women sacrifice their marriages for their happiness. Don't let it be you, sis.
Man, when I tell you this girl was cooking in this video, everything she said was on point. And anybody who heard this video and didn't understand it, didn't want to understand it. I always say that because it was very clear what she was saying. There are going to be some women out there who are going to fight this, even though it makes sense. They're going to fight it because they just don't like what she is saying. But it's true. Now let's break down a couple of things that she said. The part when she said that when men sign up for marriage, it normally isn't the same way women sign up. And I'm gonna take it one step further. While women were out there being cheered and revered for getting married or engaged or whatever, the older men were encouraging the young men not to do it, to stay away from it. These older men referred to it as jail and prison and you're giving up your freedom. And my favorite one, the old ball and chain. That's how we were sold marriage growing up. So a lot of us men looked at it in a negative light. We're hearing stories about how people are losing half of their money in a divorce, that people are losing their kids. We're hearing all this stuff. So when a man turns around and asks a woman to marry him, in most situations, they are doing it for you. It isn't that they've had this dream all of their lives. Some men do, but majority of men out there don't have those dreams and thoughts. They are doing it because they love this woman, and this is what's going to make that woman happy, and they want to do right by her. They want a family, and marriage just comes with that package. But they're not looking forward to the wedding. A lot of men dread the wedding, and I know there are a lot of women out there who don't believe that. They think men are just as excited as they are. This is why they want the man to go along when they're trying to get the wedding together. Most men don't want to do that. I know I don't. I did a video a while ago talking about how if you don't want a man to try to take over your wedding like Martin and Hustle Man did Gina with that chitlin loaf.
Baby boo, check it out. This is your loss. This right here is chitlin loaf. This go down easy and don't come up rough.
I'm your guy because I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want to play in anything. And there's one more thing I would like to say. To all the women out there who just want to have a wedding where they can be the bride and be the star without their husband all in the videos, picking out the bridesmaids' dresses, the flowers, and taking over the planning, come see CJ Salter. Just let me show up. But most men don't care about that. The second thing she said that I really like is when she said most men aren't always as happy as she thinks he is. See, in most situations, she is only thinking about herself. She's not paying attention to him. Just because he's not complaining and whining about it, she thinks everything is fine. But he hates his job. He hates sitting in traffic. He hates the office. He hates dealing with coworkers. But he doesn't complain about it because that is what he's supposed to do. Those bills got to get paid, and that is what he signed up to do. So in most situations, your husband really isn't happy. Not that he's not happy with you, but he's not happy with his life. So that saying where men sacrifice their happiness for marriage and women sacrifice their marriage for happiness, there is definitely some validity to it. This is why so many women will just wake up one day and say they're not happy and they'll just sacrifice everything. They'll break the whole thing down because they don't feel good in that moment. Just like the young lady said, it is an emotional thing that you are dealing with. And when it comes to emotion, it will get better. But a lot of women work within those emotions, and that's the only thing they're thinking about when they're filing for divorce. They're not thinking about everything else. This is why you see so many videos with women crying after they regretted divorcing their husband, like this one.
The court notified me that my final decree of divorce has been approved by the judge. I know that it sucks being alone. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone. I don't hardly talk to him anymore. I don't blame him. I filed for the divorce. So I'm sure people are wondering, well, you filed. Why are you so upset? Why are you crying? Just because you make a decision that you think is going to end up making things better doesn't mean that you have to give up the fact that you love that person or that you did it because you were trying or whatever. I've never met anybody like him, and I've never loved anybody like him either, but I don't want a divorce. I still am very much in love with my husband.
So it does boil down to them making decisions based on how they're feeling in that moment. They're not looking at the whole situation. They're not analyzing everything that happened. That is an issue. Another point that she made that is very valid. A lot of women think that every man is going to love them like their husband. They believe they're going to go out there and find another man who's going to see them and value them the same way their husband does, and that is not the case. A lot of these men are not going to value you. You may get lucky and go out there and find another man to see the same thing your husband saw, but that is not the case for a lot of women. A lot of men may value one or two things about you, but your husband valued all of that stuff put together. This is why he married you. So you may get a man who values your body or something like that, but then as soon as he's done with those things, he's going to move on to somebody else. So I really do think a lot of women drop the ball thinking that every man is going to value you like your husband. I always say it's crazy to me how some women would rather be one of 1,000 chasing after a Chad where they can be one of one with their husband. To me, the latter sounds better, but I'm a man, so I don't know. But I really love what this lady said in this video. I appreciate her making this video. Leave your thoughts on it. I appreciate you watching. See you next time.